Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco 2. Today we are here finally in the promised land of the Premier League, and today we are taking on Liverpool in the first game of the season, which is really exciting. So we've got quite a bit to talk about in today's episode. Obviously transfers, that's a big thing. We had the transfer special yesterday, but of course because it's short, to leave some surprises in there for you. But you got to see a lot of transfer business, which was quite good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing that episode. It's a bit different. We've not done that before, so going forward in the future, we might do a few more transfer special episodes if you liked it. There is one bit of big news though, and that is there's no new stadium, at least. No new stadium immediately, which is very confusing. Obviously, our stadium is too small for Premier League requirements. And currently, we're renting our stadium. We're renting Lincoln City's stadium, the Keith Alexander Arena. We're renting that from Lincoln City for £100,000 a season, which is quite a lot of money. Not quite sure why they don't want to build a new one. I find it quite interesting why they don't want to build us a new one, because we've now got, if I can find it on here somewhere, we've got... it says 881 there. I'm sure we had 9,000. I'm sure it said 9,000 not long ago. I feel like that's a bit of a bug because I'm sure it came with 9,000 season ticket holders, which really blew my mind. Either way, the ball came back and hasn't given us a new stadium, which I find a little bit weird. I think the reason for that is perhaps at the end of the season, at the end of the Championship season, we had about £4 million in the bank. At the moment, after all the transfer money that we spent, we're a minus 19 million now. So perhaps that's why they've decided not to build a new stadium for us yet. Maybe it will come in the next few seasons or something like that. But we will start to request it. In fact, can we make that request now? No, we can't. I think I already made it, didn't I? And they said no, didn't they? So I think we'll have to wait to the end of the season to actually request for a new stadium to be built. We are predicted to have £43 million in the bank at the end of the season. So we should have enough money by the end of the season to ask for a new stadium and it be granted. So I suppose we can wait for that. But at the moment, no new stadium. Anyway, on to the transfers then. A few more ins and one or two more outs since you were last here, which we'll go through. If we go into it, I can't quite remember actually, because a few days ago since I recorded it, I can't quite remember where we got up to last time. Jason Rendell's here. We're not signing him. They want about 70 million they wanted in the end. 51 million still they want for him. We're not signing him, I'm afraid. So Rendell is going to be given a chance at Brighton, I think, this season, which is a bit unfortunate. We'd love to have him back at the club, but obviously we couldn't have him. I was scuppered as well. I didn't realise you could only have 2 domestic loan transfers in the Premiership, because we rely on loan transfers. And I was going to try and get quite a few in, Rendell being one of them, but we can only have 2, which was quite an issue. So we've had to make a few more signings instead. So on the outside, we saw Watts go last episode, but Javon Fletcher has also gone as well. He's gone for 6.25 million, rising to 7.75 million to Fulham, which was quite frustrating because, I mean, the board. The thing is, the board accepted this for me. I wanted to keep him at the club, but the board accepted that bid. Now, bear that in mind. The board, they accepted this bid of 6.25 million. Now, let's look at the news items here. If we look at the board confidence thing here, if we can find it, board confidence update. The board feel the decision to sell Javon Fletcher appears to be a very poor financial deal for the club. You're the ones that sold him. You're the ones that accepted the bid. I didn't have anything to do with it. So anything, that's not major criticism towards me. Sort yourselves out. So we sold Watts and Fletcher for a combined total of just over £9 million. And we spent about £40 million on players, which is mental. We'll go through a few of them. I think I can just about remember where we were last time. So the first player we signed was Lee Phillip, of course, the striker that we've had for a few seasons on loan, but we've got him permanently now, which is really good. Has a great goal scoring record with the club. I've got no qualms about him coming to the side, so I'm very excited for Lee Phillip joining us. We've also got Pomeroy back on loan from last season as well. We have to show him either, but we'll see him at some point in today's episode. But Pomeroy is also playing up front for us today. So we've got 2 really good strikers. We then discovered, obviously, Brazilian and Argentinian Wonderkids, and that's where this guy comes in, who is called Guarana. I think that's what we're going to call him, Guarana. He's a left back. We brought him for £7.5 million. Amazing physicals, really good mentals, and quite good technicals as well. Very top quality player, left back. So it was a good job we signed him actually to replace Fletcher, but that was really good. So he comes in looking very decent this season. We saw him last episode, of course. We also got Dave Ferguson last episode on loan, a midfielder. We needed a midfielder to come in, so he's coming on loan and hopefully is going to do bits for us this season. Hopefully a very top quality player. Jose Pedro was the next player to come in from another Brazilian side. He is a goalkeeper, a 4-star current ability goalkeeper as well. We needed better goalkeepers and he's come in. Obviously we had 2 options on the table last time. One was very cheap, this guy was more expensive, but this guy got the work permit and the cheap guy didn't get the work permit. This is why we got Jose Pedro out of the 2 of them. Then I think we move on to transfers now that you haven't seen. So We start off with £2.9 million spent on Greg Smith from Cardiff. A right back, importantly, 3.5-star current ability. He's 29 years old, he's getting on a little bit, but we needed a right back desperately, especially after Watts was let go. Had been recently with Sheffield United in the Premier League, as you can see, with Sheffield. Bit of a weird one. He's been at Cardiff, but they don't seem to play him, but has played at other places at higher levels, like Sheffield in the Premier League, which I find a little bit strange, but had been on Forest's books most recently on loan, but has now come to us permanently. So he'll be good for this season, I reckon, Greg Smith. So look forward to seeing him. The next player we've brought in for £3.5 million is Thomas Christiansen from FC Copenhagen. He is a left-sided winger. We had to bring someone in who was going to replace Rendell on the left-hand side of the pitch. And this guy could be the man. The Danish international, already valued at £12 million, so that's quite good if we want to sell him on in future, obviously. But has had some decent, I say decent, insane average ratings the past few. He's not played massive amounts of games, but has had some really, really top average ratings and looks like a decent player. So hopefully Christiansen is going to do bits for us on the left-hand side of the pitch. We then brought in Jefferson Bringler, which I think I'm saying, Brillinger, that sounds about right to me. But he is a 19-year-old centre-back from Brazil, 4-star current ability and 5-star potential. He joined us instead of Porto, which was really top quality, and he is going to be probably the beating heart of our defence for the next 10 years. He looks amazing, to be fair. I'm really pleased with this signing for £8.5 million. That's a lot up front, but he's going to be a superstar in the future and played very well last season for Chapecoense in Brazil. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he turns out. Looks like a top quality player. I think probably our signing of the summer. Next up, we tried to sign this guy on loan, but it didn't work out. He didn't get a work permit for being on loan. So we tried to sign him for £7.5 million instead. And that seemed to work. He got his work permit for that. So I can't pronounce his surname at all. I'm not even going to try it. So we're just going to call him Abel. So we're just going to set his nickname right now. Let's get rid of that surname because I've no idea how you pronounce that. Abel instead, that's absolutely fine. Abel on the right-hand side this time. Only 3-star current ability. The scouts rate him a little bit higher, but he's only 20 years old, so he will improve with 5-star potential as well. Played very well last season in Brazil, and the season before that as well. So I've got no concerns about him jumping into our squad. He's our starting player on the right-hand side of the wing. I think a top-quality player. He's got Brazil under 20 caps as well. He's a top-quality lad. So we brought in quite a few Wonderkids from Brazil. And then the final player we brought in is a Wonderkid in real life. Perhaps not so much now if he had a bit of a downward spiral, but I can't believe I'm saying this, but we've signed Renato Sanchez on a free transfer. The 35-year-old Portuguese, 109 caps, 10 goals, centre midfielder. I can't believe we've got him into the squad, to be fair. He's coming in to be a starter at 35 years old, but he's a very good player still. Spent an inordinate time at Manchester United, where he was bought for £65 million. We've got a £65 million, £104 million all his transfers. We've got a £100 million player in our squad in Renato Sanchez, which is a bit crazy to be fair, but has still got it, has been playing the Premier League at a high level, was at Galatasaray last season playing for them in the Champions League and things like that. So I think we've got a great player in Sanchez, and that caps off our transfer window, which I think has been pretty successful. So we've really, really improved the squad, I think. We've got a great team around us. However, our start to the Premier League, as mentioned last episode, is ridiculously hard. We've got Liverpool on the first day of the season. Wolves, perhaps not so bad, but then Everton, Arsenal, Watford, Tottenham, Man United. It's really tough, the opening few games of the season. So if we can pick up any points, maybe a point against Wolves, a point against Everton, I'll be happy. I really do think, actually, we're not going to pick up any points until we start to play Derby, Huddersfield, Newcastle. I think there's a real chance that we're going to come to the Derby game and be rock bottom of the table on 0 points. So we'll see how the game goes today against Liverpool. It's going to be mightily tough, I've got to say. The Man United-Chelsea game, very exciting as well. I wish we could have watched that one, because that's 2 93rd-minute goals there in that game, so that would have been interesting. But as we go into today's game against Liverpool in the Premier League, this is your lineup. We've got Jose Pedro in goal as per usual. I say as per usual. This is his first ever start for the club, but he's going to be as per usual for the next few seasons as Jose Pedro is in goal with Garana Taverny, who stayed at the club in the end. Taverny obviously was subject to bids at the end of last season from Montreal Impact. I said he could go. I was going to let him go, but we spent all our money on Brazilian regens, a lot of money on Brazilian regens, so we couldn't really sign many more. No other bids came in for him, so we decided to keep him at the club. He's still a good player. He's still probably the best left-footed defender we've got at the club. So he's going to stay at the left centre-back this season with Brillinger alongside him, Smith on the right, Donker is somehow still at the squad. I wanted to replace him with someone, but we ran out of money. So Donker is still staying in that CDM position. Come January, that's a position I really want to get a new player in. Ahead of him is Ferguson and Renato Sanchez. New look attacking midfield with wingers of Christensen and Abel on either side. But Michael Pomeroy coming back after his, 25 or so goals last season. Hopefully he'll pick up. I want to see him get to at least 15 this season. That would be quite good, I reckon. If he can get 15, that's a season well done for him, I've got to say. And hopefully we can try and sign him next time around permanently. But that's the lineup. Obviously, you don't recognise any names for the Liverpool squad because we're in the mid-2030s now. It's pretty much all regens. Let's get on with it, though. I'm so excited for this. The Premier League. The Premier League. Can you believe we're here? I've got to say, we did get here, quickly, I suppose, in a grand scheme of things. It's been 15 seasons. That's... you can't have that in real life, can you? You can't have a team going from step 8 to the Premier League step 1 in 15 seasons. That is really ridiculous. But it's a game... I like to think I'm quite good at it, I suppose. I've been playing it long enough. I sort of know how the general mechanics work and things like that. But Liverpool looking to put the pressure on us early on here at Anfield. The cross comes in and it's headed over by them there. If we can grab a draw against Liverpool, imagine that on the opening day of the season. But they do look very good at the moment as they are dominating us in the possession stats and things like that. Jose Pedro... I mean, to be fair, he's redeemed himself there with that save. I'm not quite sure what he was doing in the first place because he seemed to just palm it to their striker for some reason, but made an inspired save there in the end. We'll have a shout to start off with. Let's say concentrate out there. We need to get them thinking. They're overwhelmed. That's not good. Renato Sanchez, you're meant to be the most experienced player here with a cool head. Why are you overwhelmed? Free kick for Liverpool, which is wide of the mark. They've had a few free kicks early on, a few set pieces they look dangerous from, but they've not put it in the back of a net yet, despite their 8 shots to our 1 shot. I think we're going to see these kind of stats a lot this season. Obviously, I didn't show you the pre-season preview because it's quite obvious that we are predicted to come bottom of the table. Not far off, though. I think we're very close with 17th, 18th, 19th, I think, in terms of the odds and stuff. But we are favourites at bottom of the table, obviously. If we can just get to 17th this season, I will call that a job well done. A job well done, in my opinion. But we are at half-time, 0-0, which is quite fantastic, I've got to say. If we can hold on to this in the second half, if we can just hold on to a 0-0 draw... I will be over the moon with this as Liverpool start the second half pretty brightly. I can't believe we're playing them, to be fair. It is absolutely mental. The Premier League actually hasn't changed all that much, really. Derby are here. That's a bit Stoker back in here, I suppose, as well. But Swansea there as well. But other than that, it's not really that different to real life, which I always find a bit of a shame. I miss the days when I'd remember back in Championship Manager 2003, 2004, the top 2 teams in the Premier League was obviously me with Lincoln City, but Millwall, we had a massive battle with Millwall for years and years and years. There's another great save there from João Pedro in goal. Jose Pedro, sorry. He is really, he's on a 7.3 rating already, which just shows he's obviously won. If we get a draw today, this point is all down to him. If we had, the other goalkeepers there, McClement or Fairweather from last season, we would not be keeping a clean sheet today. I think the money we spent on him was well worth it. As we're on a 7.3 rating with him. And with 15 minutes to go, we are still drawing 0-0 with Liverpool, which is absolutely ridiculous. If we can pick up a point in this game, I would have taken... To be fair, if we could only lose this game 2-0, I would have taken that. But to say at the moment, with 3 minutes to go, we are drawing the game. Although Liverpool coming forward... Oh, they finally put it in the back of the net in the 88th minute. A heartbreaking way to lose the game after. I think we've played phenomenally well defensively to keep the score at 0-0 for so long. As I was saying, I would have taken a 2-0 loss, to be fair. And I'll take this 1-0 loss because we have played... it's a superb goal. We've played enormously well and I was excited. I thought we were about to grab the draw, but we still might... We still might because there's a highlight straight and kick off. The ball to Pomeroy is a good one. Pomeroy is pulled down in the area for a penalty. Right, who is the best penalty taker? It's obviously Pomeroy. Let's put Pomeroy on this. Or is it Renato Sanchez? No, let's put Pomeroy on it. We want to get him up and running this season. He's won the penalty. Can he grab us the draw in today's game as he steps up to take it? Our number 10, Michael Pomeroy. Come on, lad. Back of the net, brilliant stuff. It was a bit of a slow penalty. The keeper nearly got there, but Pomeroy up and running in the Premier League. We are 1-1 with Liverpool, and it looks like, as things stand, we are going to be picking up a draw with them on the opening day of the season. I can't wait to watch us on Match of the Day tonight as well. That's exciting. We're going to be a Match of the Day. It's really, I just can't believe we're here, to be fair. Don't break our hearts. Ferrari on the ball. He cuts inside. Oh, the ball is just about cleared. Pomeroy can not quite collect it. Liverpool with another chance. Great save from Jose Pedro, as I say. Oh, no, Liverpool have done it. With literally, as the final whistle should have gone, Liverpool win it at the very last second. But I've got to say, we've put up a superb fight. And Jose Pedro, what a save that first shot was. He has another go. Oh, no, it's the goal, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, probably should have done better with that. But Jose Pedro, wow. He's conceded 2 goals, but what a first game of the season he has had. And there's a highlight straight from kickoff, but it's just surely going to be the ending highlight of the game now as we look to bring the game to a... I can't believe we're here, to be fair. This is absolutely fantastic that we're actually here in this position. I mean, the Premier League, the actual Premier League, we're here. Are Liverpool going to get a third? That would be a bit frustrating if they do. No, great tackle there from Smith. And I think that should be that now as Liverpool put the ball in. An exciting end to the game. I thought we were going to get the 0-0 draw. Then I thought we'd lose it. And I thought we'd get the 1-1 draw. And then we've lost it right at the end. But a great first performance from us, especially against Liverpool side, who I think Liverpool actually won the title last season. They won the Premier League last season, I believe. So to do that to them, to take them right down to the wire. Okay, we didn't play brilliant. Well, we played brilliantly defensively, I've got to say. We didn't make many chances of our own. But I've got to say, I think we were brilliant in that game. So, going forward then, we've got some really, really tough games. You're going to be next here, though, for the Tottenham and Manchester United. Oh, actually, no. I think we do Manchester United and Derby, because we're going to get battered by both Tottenham and United. And we've already played Tottenham in an FA Cup episode a few seasons ago. So I think we'll go for United and Derby, because I think Derby's probably the game where we might grab our first win of the season, maybe, if we play well. So we want to get that on camera, obviously. So we'll do Manchester United and Derby next episode. And here we go then, the Premier League. It's our oyster now. Hopefully we'll stay up this season. I think we've got a team good enough to do it. We played very well against Liverpool today, and if we can carry on playing well like that, I think we'll survive the drop this season, which is really good. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. I'll see you on Thursday for the next one. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do drop a like on the video for me. And I will see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco action.